What is up? We're back for another week of Heat. Starting off with week 4. Now we do have some straggler games out there. I hope to include them as they come. But once again, week 4, Gen 7 Heat Connoisseurs Draft League. Each team has up to 2 Z captains, allotted 20 points between the two in Gen 7, right? So expect to see stuff like Hidden Power, which is legal, Pursuit, which is legal, but not Baton Pass this time around. So we're gonna start off with the teams that we have here. So we have SpeedSapphire, coach of the Crimson Shurikens, you call them Saf, versus Bannanaspeaker, coach of the LA Rampardos. Now, amazing teams between the two. I did want to see this battle play out pretty well. Gracie, or rather, Banana. I love the way they've been playing in the consideration, as well as Sapphire too. But as far as leads go, I could see a good Zerora lead. And they've laid off pretty well too. Like, I don't think this wants to come in unless, you know, it's Scarf. And I don't know if it has access to Gunk Shot this time around. Let's see. Webs can be very decent here. Lucario is brought out. And this is Mega Lopunny, of course, by the way. I think the safest lead here is called Egregious. Like, at worst, it takes a knockout. It could set up something like a Toxic Spike, and if you're not on Boots, something might get toxic, but you do have default on things like Lottie and Rapid Spin on Tusk here. This team doesn't care too much about rocks, especially if this is lead and there's Sash. Otherwise, this could do some great damage just off of its dual stab and coverage. Hidden Power could be great into there as well. And then you don't have Triple Axle, but this looks really good into their team. So I do expect something like Rocky Helmet on this, or even this right there. So I do think they lead Kofag, and I think Zora is the lead here. So let's go ahead and play it off. Alright, so we get the Celesteela lead, and rocks immediately go up, as well as the seeds. So knockoff, scouting out that Akaberry, and the heavy slam damage. So lefties lead seed, and the move they click is heavy slam. That was a good move, just in case, you know, something like air balloon. And volt switch into the Volt Absorb. So Koda's living healthy, and Toxic is gonna be on that Latina. I know it's Lottie House. But Volt Switch coming out. And the way this is looking, this looks like Scarf Pursuit, right? They did a really good job in one of their games having that Pursuit. And I do think that's going to be here. But this might be thick enough to live it, unless it switches out. And Pursuit is there. And once again, if it did switch out, it would have died. So this is a pretty much checkmate situation. So you get the kill, and you get the Moxie. Yeah, left E's right there. Alright, cool. So good for Saf trying to scout that out. Meteor Mash is doing a good amount. +1, and that's gonna knock out Etsy. Ida comes out here into the +1 Meteor Mash. Holy crap, that's doing damage. Along with the critical hit back on it. Is this Bandy? Or are we just saying F everything? Lucario is on a roll. I do think that would have killed, but you know, why risk it? Would it have killed? In my head calc, since you got the +1 after, I'm thinking it did. But probably they're making good moves regardless. Because they get the Volt Absorb, get healthy, right? Fair exchange, you get the knockoff on that, and then you get the Toxic on that. So Coda goes down to the knockoff. And Galvantula comes in here. Z power, and this is going to be Gigavolt Havoc, and that's going to take it down to 6, doing 69. Very nice damage. And the webs get up. So it's likely that Donphan does come in here. Shouldn't die to any one hit unless this has like grass coverage. Fake out. Good damage, but not going to be enough with that lefties being there in the return. And the rapid spin is off. No speed boost because this is Gen 7. So this is going to be a miss, unfortunate damage. Especially if that's like banded bullet punch. But CC, nasty. Now I do think Crook comes in here. This as well, right? Fake out makes sense. Because having Crook there, it would have been nice to just click EQ, but you do have the Tapu Bulu. Something I did miss in the first look there to mitigate earthquake damage if it is brought. And you can't lock yourself into any one move. Like we do know this is Scarf. CC is gonna knock out Mirko. And Crook comes in to get a Stomping Tantrum off. Alright, good move. I believe Bulu comes in here and gets a kill. Stomping Tantrum's gonna do... yeah, not enough. Ooh, Dazzling Gleam Bulu. Please tell me this was CC. I hit that high jump kick, I win. Let's see. I want to go back to that instance. Alright. So I think you... high jump kick here as a mid-ground play. So the reason they did that was possibly to avoid, you know, getting burned and doing no damage versus hitting this. Yeah, high jump kick was the best play there, likely. But yeah, that did suck. They did switch though. They did switch. I don't know if they did fear the bullet punch, but still a smart move because you have the priority there. Because I'm trying to think, yeah, if that came in, you didn't have to fear that priority. You would be healthy here. You are not faster than Zero, but you have Crook, so you could sack that. Boom, boom. I don't know. I don't think it was a win necessarily. I might be wrong. But yeah, that did suck. It did definitely change the tide of the game into Ban's favor. Now, my favorite part. Let's rate the heat. Starting off with Saph's team here. We have your Covenant Stomping Tantrum because of grassy terrain spinner here. Pursuit, Scarf. It's pretty standard, standard. Didn't get to see that, unfortunately. And very good showing from Coda. Going to Gracie. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Gracie. Going to Banana. Donphan, very standard. It could have had an ice move here or just a ground move. Or even toxic. Just effective. This thing was scary. Pretty standard. You got the standard. Didn't get to see that come out. Z move, CC knock, volt switch. So Plasma Fist would be the move there. Unless it was like electric volt switch, I doubt. But Dazzling Gleam, I do love seeing that. Because this thing can see calm mind up and do some crazy work, I think. So I do want to give that some heat. Like, this doesn't have any other fairy attack other than Dazzling Gleam. Like, well, I don't even know if I could call that heat. I had to see more. So, other than that, good game between the two. And we got Salty Auxiliary from Miss T Ketchup, aka Ketch, or Ketch with 5 H's if you nasty. Coach of the New York Masquerades, Mask 19. Now, they have a pretty solid team, great team. I don't think I've seen Salties much. I'm sorry, Catches much. But I do like the look of this. This is something I would definitely mess around with. Like a lot of raw power off the rip, right? You got some great stats over here, like amazing attack, attack, attack as well, attack, special attack, and this has pretty decent special attack as well with a amazing defense. If they were to have anything else defensive here, maybe the Excadrill, I'm unsure. Into their team here, which is fat, damage, and whatever this wants to be, right? So this could be bulky. I believe this is Mega. It is Mega. So Chandelure looks really good here, having the Fiery Ghost and Grass coverage, hitting everything super effectively that's not Miltank or Nidoking. But this thing looks like a beast into that. It does have thick fat. It does have amazing HP, as well as amazing speed too. Like, don't sleep on this mod. It's utterly destructive. I don't know. So as far as the lead here, Rox does look good into the team because Victini does like to have that scarf. I could see a lead on Victini. This could get up Rox, this could get up Rox, this could get up Rox. Simeon looks good, either bulk up or U-turn. I do believe it gets Seed Bomb coverage. Yeah, it looks really good. I could see Toxic on Excadrill, maybe for some annoying stuff like if this was to come in, or even Rotom. But you do have Mold Breaker if needed, especially in this matchup because you don't really set up Sand like off rip. I don't know if this has Sandstorm, but yeah, I think this is gonna be Mold Breaker, even Scarf possibly. Prankster here into this T-Wave would be nice. This also has knockoff. It's a good Defiant Mon, so you could like bait up Spikes, get the Defiant boost, go mix as well, HP Fire, Grass Knot. Prankster works too. I don't believe you have Nasty Plot. You don't have Nasty Plot. So yeah, let's get into it. So the lead is Chandelure. Did not see that lead into the Rotom, so that's gonna scare out that and go right into Miltank. So that's some hefty damage. I don't know if that is thick fat or not. Scrappy looks just really good. If it goes like for a normal move here, then I think we can be safe on the Scrappy part. But just has the coverage and does have the lefties up, of course. So rocks go up. Volt switch into Friday morning. Brings in the Nidoking here. Tailwind, yo, I love it. Flamethrower. So this is great initiative here, right? So Fire Blast damage does a hell of a lot for a not very effective move, leading me to believe this is possibly Scarf. Specs, possibly. And you only have 5 left. Those 3 Fire Blasts did a good amount. And Milk Drink is going to get Miltank right back up to 100 with the lefties. Hope comes out here, and the U-turn. Great damage. And the Earthquake. So we can... this stayed in, because Earthquake just does damage all around the board, right? We do know it's Mold Breaker, so there's no switch-ins for this. So Rotom Mo comes in here, possibly for the burn, and we do see that they want to prioritize Defog. Earthquake gets a kill. Unsure if this is Scarf. Final Gambit does knock that out though. So good bring. They saw it as a threat, but I think, oh, okay. So yeah, that's gonna knock that out. This is slower than the Miltank, so not scarfed. Like, why do I feel like this is just mono choice? All right, Little Spoon comes in here off the sash. Do we see counter? Hidden power. Still fine. So very well played, I think, by Ketch, and very well built by Mask here. Yeah, they just clicked damage. They got damage with their hazards, and they just clicked, you know, the move that you expect. For the most part, Little Spoon being on sash and having magic guard, amazing. Good clutch mon. So Thundy just sat in the back. Can't really say anything of heat here, nor here. Like, we love seeing Final Gambit. But yeah, this was a quick game, 17 turns. Who clicked most moves? Not counting PP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, yeah, they both had 8 moves clicked there. Good match. Let's go in. Great match. Let's go on to the next one. Alright, we have Samuel, coach of Piggy Guys, versus Lord Emvee, coach of the Big Nuggets. We have seen this loadout before in these 5 months. I want to say Kiss was there too, or I may be wrong. Versus this very, like, Zam's team really reminds me of some of the teams I used to build back then. So, like, coverage between Mew and Torn is crazy. We do have low kick on things like Weavile, Superpower or Focus Blast on this. Everything in the book here. I don't think Emvee's team much likes the Wisp that can come from any of these mons. Like, imagine if this is Switcheroo Flame Orb, that'd be funny. You do have the healer, Togekiss, as well. And you are faster if Scarfed than everything here. If not Scarfed, you're faster than this, depending on Mew. And yeah, I don't know if we see any flinch downs. I think Muck goes crazy here, especially with this gone. Muck, I think, goes insane, especially if you do avoid any kind of status move here. Mega Glade does have coverage to hit everything as well, so this is a good cleaner, I see. Suicune, especially if it could avoid Toxic, looks actually really good as well. Imagine it baits a electric move for like weakness policy something. That'd be crazy. Klefki, if it is the dreaded, I don't even know if it has super power. Let's get right into it though. I do think this is gonna be a pretty good matchup. I can't really call which one has more prowess here. This team, any mon can be a lead. Like, literally any mon can be a lead. I like that. As far as Emvee here, I don't know if you do prioritize getting up rocks, but you do have 3 rock weak. Could be the move. So I think Red still stays in the back though, especially since it could get hit super effectively by 5 out of 6 of the team. Maybe a lead of Mega Glade here. Alright, so we do see the Red still, amazing shiny, and we do see the Rotom. So good scout, I love that. Scouting out what the Rotom does here. So Red still, if it's getting burned, it likely doesn't care. It has Seismic Toss, maybe Rest. I doubt Rest. Like, there's Protect. There's Leftovers. And we got Zygarde coming in here. So there goes the other Toxic. And that's just going to go straight down. Hip Out On comes in here. So Klefki did the job of getting off the spike, and it's gonna go in tandem with the roar from Hippo. And then they get up the rocks here. So Defog. So Klefki's work is only shown in the Toxic, unless we see Hillbell here. So Zygarde is going to be the staple to come in here. This does have access to Hex, I believe, but it doesn't show it if it does have it. So pretty manageable damage there. Like that's 4-hit KO'd maybe with the lefties. I mean, I might be wrong. 5-hit maybe? I don't know. Defog again. And I think Zygarde is not going to be coming in here. That was smart. Do we get the boost? We get the boost! We get the Omni boost! We can only assume that this is Serene Grace. Do we get another? Oh, Lord have mercy. The Icicle Crash into the Ancient Power. No boost. So Emvee has to get up out of there. And Red still comes in. Now this, again, could have low kick. But we see maybe a Toxic get thrown off. Yeah, Toxic comes out. Because all their Mons are pretty much good to get Toxic. That's not Hip Out On. So we could see Roost or Defog here. We do see the Defog. But very nice coverage to have Hidden Power for the read switching, and very nice for Emvee to read the read. And we see the Tectonic Rage on Muck, but Muck don't care. Oh my gosh, Muck is a thick boy. What they touch, and you will not touch it back because it is already gunked up. So Earth Power is gonna knock that out. And Gallade comes in. Do we see the Mega or do we see... Yeah, we see the Mega. Because you don't have Sharpness yet as Vanilla Gallade. So the +2, scaring out the Mew. And the Leaf Blade. Now, Torn is faster here. It has to rely on getting the hit. Acrobat! Okay. I wanna see something. If this was an item or not. Off team preview. We'll wait. Maybe this could have like White Herb if it does have an item. Maybe in Citrus Taunt. So Seismic Toss in the chip. Heat Wave? No, knock off. Okay, knocking off that very well. In the U-turn. So I don't think that has a move to hit Reggie. Well, confirmed because we saw all the moves. So low kick on Kiss. Gonna avoid the kill, but the Ice Shard comes out there. So we get Zygarde with the extreme speed hitting. And I think this just only tries to do damage to... Maybe this has Ice Beam, I think, right? We already saw Yachi go off on... What did we see Yachi for? Am I tripping? We saw Yachi on this, okay. So, Zygarde gets the kill. I wonder how many kills does Zygarde have here? So very well played, very fun looking game. Loved seeing the Ancient Power pop off, as well as just being supportive. It didn't even try to heal. It just got off the rocks every time it needed to, the spike, which would have gotten the kill on Zygarde if it remained up. Let's go over the teams. Zam first here. The Taunt Acrobat. U-turn knockoff. So very supportive set. Hitting on the physical side of things here. So having a stronger knockoff, stronger U-turn as well. I can only assume into Emvee's team. I love the play that you did with this. Played this really well. Hip out on rocks, trying to get like a lot of good chip damage off on Emvee's very thick team, very very thick. Tectonic Rage, like that's nice for the Seism Toad, nice for the Red Steel as well. I wonder what you would have to hit. You have Psyshock to hit Crag. Nice. Okay, I see the division. Very nice. I'm gonna give this heat. This is a heat rating of 2 for me, right? Cause let's go to the very first turn. Did you see that? If you blink, you'll miss it. Let's check again. Well, I mean, it's been shown, but yeah, no item on Torn, so you get the auto boost in that damage there. You know what? Let's give that a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3 because you have no item. You have what I can only assume is like a you know, neutral attack nature or high investment in this. This is pretty heat. And you could see this being used on something like the ladder pretty well. Akin to like how you start seeing Lando T with HP Ice. This would be the inverse. So I do like seeing that. Nice. Yeah. Good showing on that. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3. Because the taunt is really nice too. That was very well played. Very well made. Just having coverage on this makes sense. I don't think I could give it heat for it, but the way you played so well, like into the read. But I think you got red, because Emvee stayed in and got the ancient power. So yeah, that was well played. And I'm gonna give this a heat rating of Yachi. So boom, yeah, the rock does so well. The item, I want to give this a heat rating of 2. I would love to see more, you know, boosts and stuff like that. That would have been fun to see, but c'est la vie. You know, it's only a 20% chance, which, you know, you popped it off. So great showing on there. Zygarde, pretty standard with it. Standard. SD Leaf Blade, dope. Like I can only expect like probably Ice Punch as well, and maybe it doesn't have Sacred Sword, right? Just CC, Drain Punch maybe. Pursuit trapped on the Mew, but the Mew did have the ground Mew. I think that was a good bring, good coverage. Something I think which would be expected of a Z-Cap. Earthquake likely did more, but Psyshock means you hit Crag a little harder. And yeah, this is screaming I have Ice Beam probably. So well played by both. Didn't get to see Suicune come out here. Dope game overall. Let's move on to the next. Alright, so we have Master Hand, aka Spazz, aka your boy himself, versus ThatOneGuy, coach of the Arc9ers versus the Stunner Die alumni. So, yeah, this team is insane just off of team preview. Or, not team preview, but just off of their drafted team. Like, I love their drafted team. And within the video, I did give a little insight to, you know, how they crafted somewhat, like, not revealing anything, but just the mastermind right here. Yeah, this guy's gonna be ahead of the evil team one day. Maybe if so willing. So their team looks very scary versus mine, right? They have some beast, quite literally, out the Ultra Space wormhole. You got Blacephalon here and Nihilego on the opposite sides, just threatening so much damage, like into my team, especially if you get the +1 off and if they're offensive, which, you know, I can only assume. Savali could be anything at once. Once again, you know, had a very supportive, loving family. And you have Araquanid with webs, Umbreon. We know what this does, right? This thing just clicks Foul Play. Foul Play into my team looks crazy off this dark type. And not caring about any other move except for healing itself, maybe getting off Toxic, maybe healing its team, Wish Protect, you know, it does the thing. All it needs is one move, and then Glide Score here. probably the least threatening Mon, but in the matchup, but also one to be respected, right? So here I have Grant a Wish, Rabombi, no, my bad. Grant a Wish, Pixie Sticks, Cthulhu, Nightmare, Scrappery, and Narcolepsy. Right? Not the most threatening team. So here I'm thinking, dang, I expected all these aside from Araquanid. I don't know why I overshot Araquanid. So my initial lead was gonna be like Rabombi, maybe paralyze something that's fast. Also potential to paralyze this. And the way they play, they do play with, you know, having Toxic on some good sets. So within the match, I do read a little bit of that, but I start off with Cthulhu because I think it's good into both their beast here as well as Araquanid. And this, I don't have to worry about getting poisoned if I have Toxic, which I do. And not knowing what type this is, I could just throw off Toxic in front of it if I know it's not Still or Poison. Because why would you bring Still, right? Still actually would have been pretty good into me too, I think. Maybe. But, c'est la vie. So, they do lead the Haru. I did get that read right. And I'm like, this shouldn't be able to touch me as much as I think. And I could just spin unless, you know, you bring in the ghost, which they do. So I do get that Toxic off. Now the SD here puts me in a very disadvantaged position, especially with the webs. So turn 3 goes crazy. So I had to sack the Grant a Wish, which was screens to help out the teams. But if you want to see what I had, watch the video. So I get a good Moonblast off, good damage, dropping that off from the Modest Nature. Was I Modest? I don't know. So I bring this in. Cthulhu should be able to take a good amount, as well as getting off the webs, especially if you want to avoid knocking that out. Because I am invested enough to where if Hydro Pump does hit, it does die. And I could have hit my got him if I did click my funny button that they clicked on Araquanid, but I did not go that route. I chose to get off possible damage off the 80 accuracy move. And it's only here that I realized, oh, they've been using Black Sludge. So I get off my webs. I wasn't entirely too sure how purposeful that would be. But now that I don't have webs on my side, I'm like, no reverse. So they get the Toxic on Nightmare, and I get my dig. I get my heat off. Because if not now, then when, right? So, I get the discharge off. I get a crit. Amazing damage. And I'm like, if this goes down, it goes down, which is good for me. Because I can bring out my Mimikyu to start to, you know, get damage off on the board. I didn't SD there because I wanted to scout what came in, get the damage. And the way this came in was kind of defensive. Like I doubt it would, you know, set up on me, but Toxic into the rest of what I have as a team would suck. But Comatose don't care about no Toxic. And Narcolepsy don't care about your bulk. I Sleep Talk Last Resort. And I hit another one. You know what? Why didn't this go in the thumbnail? Right? Doing 87 to a dang Umbreon. And I did calc this, like, foul play does a crazy amount back to me. Doing about the same amount, right? 83. Okay, they did the most damage. But, yeah. Not to be effed with. So, I do think they made a potential mistake by bringing Umbreon in to get hit, but they helped me out in that instance. They brought in their Gliscor to get some damage, and I let this go down because I still have the Disguise and I don't really care about anything else, so I get a free +2. So we're both at 100, 100. So I'm calculating for the most part. That miss did suck. So I recognize that by the oof. And I get the SD up on the protect. So I go ahead for the shadow sneak here because I know that, you know, I could likely get a kill off, depending on their investment. And yeah, being that they're protecting, I'm getting chipped down, whittled down. I have to start going for the play rough, which does suck. I don't like clicking inaccurate moves. If I was life orb, I would have died, but I am the pixie plate in the pixie 8. So yeah, almost oofed me with the triple protect. That would have been insane goob. But yeah, well played by that one guy for sure. Very close battle, very wound down. Like I think if they did make some better plays, they probably did have the dub, because having the two ghost types on. Having the two ghost types on what I had set up here did suck, but I did overcome and we did stunt or die. All right, and we have a extra game for you because we were missing one from week 2. So we got Ketchhhhh, coach of the Salty Octillery, which they played earlier today, versus Mommy Phil, coach of Charizard. So week 2 just now played within week 4, so if they're watching any of the games, they might have a good idea of how the opponent plays and stuff like that. Ketchhhhh has a very solid team, seeing a lot of familiar mons, right? Like this could definitely be like a, what is it, Gen 7, Gen 8 team right here. So very standard like off rip, I could see a lead from T-Tar, maybe even Skarm. T-Tar does have access to Ice Beam for things like this, especially if it runs defensive nature. And it's also a Spazz tank for the likes of Greninja, possibly, soaking any water type moves. But it does have access to low kick. So I could see a Grin lead here, even a Virizion, which is one of their Z captains along with their Garchomp here. They do have Mega Camerupt here too. Very solid teams overall. So if not Grin having low kick, it could have Gunk Shot too. So I do see some pretty good pivots and coverage moves from Grin into Grin as well. This could be an AV set for the likes of Grin, but also that Gunk Shot is threatening. However, we don't have Protean Grin, we don't have Battle Bot Grin to worry about. Metagross. Now, Phil does use Metagross very well here. Like it hits everything here pretty hard, bar probably Tangrowth. But with enough chip, this does die. I can see like Earthquake, T-Punch, Meteor Mash, just decent coverage throughout there. Not sure if it has a fighting move that's higher base power than Brick Break, but Brick Break nonetheless does one-shot non-chopple T-Tar. As far as Z moves, I could see probably a Fire MZ if it was to go that. Fire in Desire Earthquake does look good into this side of the team here. Camerupt doing just awesome damage with its sheer force after megaing. Looks really good. So yeah, I'm gonna say as far as the lead, I would love to see Scarf Energy Ball into that maybe, but probably T-Tar. Skarm is also safe if they want to get up spikes to force Defog off on this. They like getting up hazards as well, I believe, in this matchup to break things like Sturdy on Skarm, chip this, and do overall damage to that. So let's see. I'm gonna say lead Grin, lead T-Tar. So we see a Zapdos lead, was not on my scorecard, and we do see the T-Tar immediately with the Volt Switch into Garchomp. So rocks get up, and we do see leftovers on T-Tar. Now going straight into Skarmory, there is the Fire Blast. And good reading. The Radiohead, or not reading, but just overall scouting. Ketchhhhh going into Clef here, probably to scout out more of their set and of course take no damage. Good mid-ground play as well. So Metagross comes in here. And let's see what this does. We get up the Stealth Rock off on Metagross. Toxic to get a read off, but the hidden power likely fire into that. So just gonna spam another hidden power. Okay, wait a minute. So that just revealed, right? That was super effective, being that it's slower since it's flying type. Now that it got rid of its flying type, it's no longer super effective. So we can assume this is HP electric, because that's the only thing that really hits this super effectively when flying. So HP electric. And still trying to get the toxic off. Having the earthquake there. Nice, making this slower for things like earthquake after the roost. Doing half of its damage. So it's gonna have to get up out of there. So hidden power is gonna be resisted because it is HP electric and the meteor mash. So nice, instead of going T-punch, they went a special type off on this. So that way, if it was Rocky Helmet, right? Okay, knocked off the Sugar Berry. I did miss that, sorry. For the likes of that. But yeah, that was smart. Hidden power, avoiding any type of residual damage that Rocky Helmet Skarm could have had here. Especially with having Earthquake to hit it on roost, and Hidden Power to hit it when it didn't roost. Both super effectively. Very well played there. Alright, Excadrill comes in here. Gonna have to hit the Earthquake off on that. And I feel like that was an intentional sack. And the Hydro Pump. That still does some pretty good damage, but just gonna get switched out. And another great play from Ketchhhhh. Playing this like a true Gen 7 OU ladder team. So plenty of switches, those rocks are coming in, and we see the Virizion, however. Calm Mind up, so Calm Mind variant. Just want to see how it looks into the team, even though this is, you know, T-Tar in the sand. I'm wondering if they care, because I'm pretty sure it still dies to a fighting move, even if Chople at +1, maybe, possibly. But we do see the Fire Blast come out first, confirming that this is a Choice Scarf. So taking massive chip from these spikes in rocks on both sides here. Camera Up comes in, it gets Earth Powered off on the Tangrowth here. Tangrowth is going to be faster and hit it with the Earthquake, and Fire Blast is going to knock that right down. So getting rid of the weeds. T-Tar coming back as the lead, and it's going to crunch, and that's going to do enough. You thought I was going to say bunch. Ha, tough. Sorry. So we see Chandelier come out here on the Stone Edge. Good mid-ground play. Good mid-ground play. Because Earthquake was the threatening move there. Maybe you wanted to sack that. Maybe, you know, you didn't need this, especially if Water Shuriken or anything like that. But just having a good switch into Radiohead here. Now we don't see the item yet. I'm still assuming it's gonna be like Firerium. Moonblast into this, doing 26 with the Sand Chip, but having the leftovers on that does help. And it's back at full, but once again, gonna be doing 26 after that. I'm lying again, because Sand Chip, leftovers, yeah, cancel out. Alright, Nokia comes in here. I love this name. So if you know, you know, like that's showing some age. Nokia's unbreakable. Let's just see if it happens to break anytime soon. It does leave off with a para. And T-Bolt getting another para off. Do we see a drop? We see a drop. Called it. Fair is fair right there. But switching out And the funny thing we don't see here yet is a defog. They may not be carrying it. We don't know the last move here, but the hazards don't seem to be affecting Phil. But the paralyzed Radiohead is definitely going to be feeling that. Unfortunate, but it does live to drop Grand. So this is a pretty close game, I would definitely say. Like, T-Tar is probably going to come out here, set up that sand. The only thing is, this could like, because T-Tar is probably still like, okay, this is the dilemma. T-Tar always threatens to kill. This is air balloon, so we know it's opened up and it is not mold breaker, so it is definitely sand rush or sand force. That would be dope. Right, so we know this isn't choiced. Like, you could stall out some sand turns, but you also risk dying potentially. So I wonder if Phil goes for the kill or if Phil fills it out and tries to stall it out. So going right into extra drill, I forgot you got the balloon. Do we see the firium? Okay. So that was the other dilemma too, right? Oh, either crit or miss again. And we do see the fire blast, but not firium. So earthquake drops Garchomp out. And Kamina has the rock slide for the Zapdos, and that's gonna be GG for catch. So well played by both. I want to go through the teams here. I really wonder what the item was. Like, I'm only assuming Firium because on just this alone, not considering the team makeup they have, it looks pretty good into their team, doing extra damage and getting a sure hit off. Which if it was Firium, I think they got the game. But you know, hindsight. CM didn't get to see him do anything. I'm sorry. Hydro pump on this, it did hit very hard, pretty good. Pretty standard fire blast, going for straight up damage. I love this. This to me was very very considerate of, I think, the team, because you do have T-Punch available on this. But what you're doing is you're hitting on both spectrums, right? And this was doing a pretty decent chunk, enough to where this had to roost off. And it did scare Skarm to the point where, okay, I could Toxic just spam on you, because you're going to switch. You're going to see Rocky Helmet. And we didn't see Rocky Helmet. I want to see if this is confirmed Rocky Helmet. But yeah, that was very smart. I think this was made to stay in on the likes of Friday morning, because Friday morning couldn't do anything, so it didn't get to see Saturday morning. So yeah, this to me is pretty heat. I'm gonna give this a heat rating of 2, right? Because you get to hit Skarmory specifically super effectively on any, you know, like it, unless this had Whirlwind or something like that, like Brave Bird went dumb nothing, Toxic nothing, Roost, you still get hit for damage. Spikes, cool, especially like if this is Rocky Helmet, but this one was not carrying. It did not care. So yeah, that gets a heat rating of 2 for me there. So pretty heat, very much so. Like, just a consideration. Fire Blast mixed, Garchomp, good coverage. I really wanted to see what this did. So well played by Char or Charizard coach Phil. Moonblast, T-Spikes, Roost, Crunch, Stealth Rock, Fire Blast, Knock, Earthquake. So pretty standard here. Standard still does win games. Very well done. The plays, the switching, yeah, very well done by Ketch. And yeah, so we just caught all the games for this week. This is week 4. This is a week 2 game we just added on. So any straggling games I will try to add to the end of the video. And of course I do have timestamps. I don't know why they're not showing up in the video, but yeah, just let it play and you keep playing. Keep having fun. See you in the next one. Peace.